Live, and I do. That we're live. I trust that we're live. So I'm gonna jump right into it. So if this is your first time tuning in with me, first time seeing my channel, my name is Jarrell. Um, Full-time entrepreneur, 100% faith-based. I would not be where I'm at now. Multiple six figures after quitting the job during the pandemic. I will not be where I'm at now without God. So this live today is titled "God is moving mountains for you," and He is. And so and and I want to just kind of share my story and share how, like, in your life, like what it takes and how to change it and to kind of get those results where you actually see the results of those mountains being moved, where you see the results and you see what God's doing and what, like, I'm just going to share what kind of helped me and what can potentially help you. So let's kick it off. Isaiah 55, 8 through 9. This is coming from KJV, right? So, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. All right. So this is from Isaiah to Israel, reminding them that God's plan is often beyond human understanding. And so I didn't get it that, like, I had dabbled into things with like starting a business, right? But I didn't get the importance of stepping fully into it, and not from a going full time, right? Because it's not always about going full time if you got a stable job, like, and He hasn't called you to do that, right? But when I say stepping fully into it, I mean I didn't get stepping fully into it and believing that it was going to work, like really having that strong belief, that strong um conviction that everything was going to work out, that everything was going to be right, that everything was going to work, everything was going to be right, the businesses were going to work out. And even in failed businesses, things work out. And so, like, you may be feeling stuck, and that things aren't working the way that you're planning them, or maybe things are a little bit unstable with everything going on in the world, right? But I want you to know in that God has the final word of everything. So it's like, we can't, even if we see uncertainty, we can't trust what we see. We have to trust God, right? And so maybe you feel like business isn't growing, or you're afraid to take the next step. And that's the key there. Like, a lot of the times I look at it like um things don't move how you want them to move because you haven't done the move that God told you to do. Like, God told you to just move forward and start the biz, or move forward and take that leap and, like, do whatever the next thing is. And I don't mean just anything. Like, I mean the thing that's keeps you up at night, the thing that's on your mind constantly, the thing that you're like, oh my God, I want to do it, but, and you always come back to it, I want to do it, but. I want you to know that He's not asking you to do it. Like, He's not like, hey, can you do this? It's not a favor. He's positioning you to do it because it's for you. And so literally, when you're in the position to do the thing that He's called you to do, He's going to make the path for you. He's going to move the mountains around for you so you can do it. And so when it comes to me and where I was at, was that I was like not fully committed. Like, I would do stuff sometimes for a little bit of extra money on the side, and I wasn't fully committed to one of the very first things, which was like a t-shirt business, right? And then beyond that, it was the same thing with, like, building out. I used to build out Wix sites when Wix had first came out, and I used to do custom graphics and things like that, logos and things like that, but I wasn't fully committed to it. It was kind of real. I was treating it part-time, but I expected full-time. But if you're going to have an expectation of full-time, you have to then turn around and put in the work of full-time. And the full-time work requires full-time belief. It doesn't require that, well, I just need this to pay this bill, or I just need this for this, because he's not calling you and saying like, well, I just need you to do this. He wasn't calling me and saying, I just need you to do this so then you can just sell a few t-shirts to people because they just need some extra clothes on their back. No, it was like, I'm calling you to do this because because later down the road, this is going to prepare you for what's later down the road. And later down the road is this present day where it's multiple six figures later, where it's like these things have, and excuse me, y'all, while I pull up, you know, I need to pull up, I got to pull up the live to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we straight, y'all. You know, I gotta pull it up. I gotta pull it up real quick. I gotta pull it up real quick. I gotta pull it up real quick to make sure we straight. So bear with me. Yeah, I gotta pull it up real quick to make sure we straight. All right, so let's get right back to my notes and then put this right here. Okay, so I thought at one point that I was being forced into entrepreneurship, right? And I thought that everything was falling apart around me because like just things just weren't working out. But what I found was that he sometimes puts you in a really uncomfortable situation because you haven't moved on the situation that he told you to move on. So you feeling like things are tough, but have you got to really ask yourself, like, because at that moment, I had to ask myself, what had I gone all in for real? And I really haven't. Like, I think at this time I was working like overnight, and this was around the time that I was writing my book, because I'm a self-published author. And so I was working overnight. I'm writing my book, and I'm just like, bro, I got this overnight job, and I'm trying to write this book, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, man, I don't. This is too much. And it took me a year to write my book, and during that year, it was a year of ups and downs. It was a year of like not really having consistent income. It was a year of like these little in between jobs, right? Like barely making it. But when I finished the book and I started selling the book, I started to see some light. Like then I had got hired I had got hired like for a real estate company, and I was doing my real estate thing because I had went to real estate school, and it's like I seen kind of like a turnaround because I had done the thing that one of the very first things that he had said, hey, look, I need you to go do this. And I don't need you to do it when you feel like doing it. I need you to go move on this thing right now, right? And so I was fighting I was fighting for security and with income, right, with a job. And this is not me telling you that to quit your job or anything like this, because even at this point in my life, I hadn't quit my job. But I was fighting for job security, but God had another plan. I'm fighting for like, man, ain't got time to write this book. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go to work. I'm too tired. I'm too this, I'm too that. It was too many excuses as to why I didn't follow through on the very thing that he had already planned for me. And I would think I would have a copy of my book here. I got it in a room. But so God is gonna make you, the lesson there was that God is gonna make you uncomfortable so you don't stay where you're not meant to be. And so right now in this season, this year, this is live, right? It's February 19th. If you're not comfortable where you are, and when I say that, I don't mean just like, it's not about money, but I mean like if you're basically unhappy with your situation and you've been that way for a long time because there's a decision and you keep wondering, should you make that decision? I'm here to tell you that you need to make it, and not because I'm saying it, but because it keeps coming back to you. He doesn't let us rest when we haven't done the thing that he has called us to do. I could not get solid rest until I finished that book, until I finished The Real Investments in Life. I didn't get solid rest. I was literally up writing the book, going to work, writing a book, tired, not doing my help trying to write the book on days on my my lunch break, right? And so you're not going to get this rest that you're looking for. The reason that you've been so in unrest, right, is because you need to move right now on that business idea, on something. This is very heavy business related because this is a season to where so many people are saying, I want extra income, I want this, I want that, but you're not moving on it in the fashion that you need to. You're not taking immediate action. You're still thinking about the idea that you had 6 months ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and they've told me, well, Jarrell, I wanted to start this business, but, I thought this and I thought that. And I came across the post, and this guy was like, 5 years ago, I thought that learning this skill set was going to take me a long time to learn it, and so I put it off. But then he's like 5 years later, and I'm just now starting. And so I'm not saying these things to say to you, but what I am saying is that, for one, you're never too old to start. You could be 35, you could be 36 like me, you could be 40, you could be 45, you could be 50. You're never too old to start something new. You could be 60. You're never too old to start something new. If he's put it in your heart, go after it, right? And so Exodus 14:15, and the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. The Israelites were stuck at the Red Sea, right? Fearing Pharaoh's army was finna come get him, and bring him back to slavery or kill him, whatever, right? And so they wanted to stop, but God said, move forward. He said, keep going. In the midst of nothing but uncertainty, keep going. And so if you're at that place right now, because I've been there, it's you just got to push forward and don't worry about, we've put so much emphasis on the win outcome instead of his outcome. Why am I focused on the when is it going to happen? And why am I focusing on how is it going to happen? Instead of just focusing on God said it's going to happen. God told you it was going to happen. Because he keeps it on your mind. That's how you know. That's how I knew, at least. I can't tell you necessarily how you know. That's how I knew. And that's how I continue to know when I need to move on something, because he keeps it on my mind. So some of you are praying for clarity, right? When God has already given you the instructions. You don't need another confirmation. You just need to move. You just need to execute on the idea. Whether that looks like you applying for funding, whether that looks like you putting in an application for this for a commercial property, maybe you want to open a venue, whether that looks like you starting a coaching program, whether it looks like you creating your first product, whatever it is, you need to move. And if you don't know these steps, you have to first move and decide that you're going to do the thing, because after you decide that you're going to do it, the next step would be moving on, getting a mentor, getting someone that can help you make the money that you want to make. Getting someone that can help you make, because a lot of people want to make 100K, you know what I'm saying? They want to make their first 100K in business. I was actually talking to somebody today, and I was giving them some pointers, and I was like, man, have you made your first 100K in the thing that he does? He's a comedian. And he was like, well, no, but, I'm like, well, keep going, because I'm like, the first 100K is going to be your hardest, especially if you don't seek mentorship, if you don't seek people that have done it, and you don't have that plan, right? But after that, because you've done it, now you can replicate it. So the first of anything is going to be difficult, but where we go wrong at, we try to do first by ourselves. What sense does it make to do something that you've never done before, that this is your first time doing it by yourself? When you first were hired, where you're hired at, did you do the job on your own, or did you get training? You got training, right? When you first You know, we're taught when you first tried to tie your shoes, did it work out or did someone show you what to do? We have been shown what to do first our entire lives for the most part. 80 to 90% of your life, there is somebody or something that's influenced you or shown you what to do first, how to move first, and then you take an action based off of that. So why would it be any different when it's time for you to execute on the idea that he's put on your heart, but you don't necessarily know how to do it? Why wouldn't you seek out mentorship? Why wouldn't you buy a course? Why wouldn't you read a book? Like, why wouldn't you go to YouTube University? But at the same time, sometimes you've been in YouTube University for years, and he like, listen, take the money that you get and go all in, because that is what trusting in him is. It's going all in. So Genesis 19:26. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Basically, this wife, she was attached to what she was leaving behind. She didn't trust God's plan fully. We get like in my season, I was attached to, we get and I imagine a lot of people, we think that we get attached to, a lot of the times, like especially when we talk mentorship, things like that, we get attached to the money that's in our account and to the fact that, well, this is for a rainy day. When it's been raining, it's been pouring, and you ain't patched the roof, right? And that's a metaphor, is like you haven't patched the thing up by actually doing the thing and moving forward. So it's like we get so attached to the worldly possessions that we have that we can always replace, instead of being attached to trusting God. Like instead of being attached to trusting in his word, in what he has for us. Because you can't half step on faith. You can't say I got faith, but it's either you got faith or you don't. And that's how it is for me. Like either I believe or I don't believe. It can't be, I can't do the in between, like, well, I got faith, but what if this? I don't even do that, because it's not productive, and it's 100% counterproductive to who he's made you to be, who he's made us to be. We're made in his image. Do you think he'd be like, well, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I could do this, but it's like, we have to move, and we have to trust. I know that there's been so many things in life maybe that the trust hasn't been there, people let you down, but God always shows up. He always showing up for me. And so it's like, people say, oh, I did it by myself. No, God has shown up for you. So when God is telling you to leave something behind, looking back on that thing can cost you more than you think. Simply, it can cost you, because when you're trusting him, you're marching, you're walking forward. So if you're walking forward, what were you looking back for? It's kind of like when people always talk about like dating and stuff like that, it's just like, oh, well, don't go back to the past or do whatever the case may be. It's like keep moving forward. Once you make the decision, keep moving forward. Don't go back to the same mindset, which was, well, what if this? What if that? No, keep moving forward. Why? Because that he has a plan for you. He's going to move mountains for you as long as you trust him. So those who wait for perfection, wait for perfect conditions, will never take action. There's never going to be perfect conditions. So it may hurt a little bit and it may hurt a little bit for a very short amount of time to take some money out of savings and pay and enroll in that mentorship to learn that skill set. Like it just for a little bit though. But he's building you in that pain. He's building you. He's literally right next to you during the process. Why? Because you trusted him. He was literally right there, right next to me when I took like $600-700 that I didn't have. I didn't have it. You want to know how I didn't have it? I got on a payment plan and all I had was the down payment to go to real estate school. I didn't even have the whole thing at the time. I didn't have the, listen to me, I didn't have the whole, it was like $700 or something like that. I did not have the whole thing. I got on a payment plan not knowing how I was going to have to pay the rest. We had to pay the balance off in like a month. I didn't know how I was going to make the extra payment when I had already paid my rent. I had already paid the car note. This was the last money I had. I didn't know how I was going to get to work. But if I never went to real estate school, if I never went when I went, I would have never started the businesses that I started, because real estate school taught me sales on a different level. It taught me real estate, of course, which led me to opening an event space, because without necessarily having to get help from a real estate agent, because I went to real estate school, I understood how real estate worked. I understood, zoning and these different things, right? It wouldn't have never prepared me for being comfortable enough to sell. Like I was like pitching people on, $2,500 a month units, $3,500 a month units, $4,000 a month units, $5,000 a month units. I would have never been comfortable with those price points if I had never went to real estate school, right? So I didn't wait for perfect conditions. It was actually like, back then, it was actually like really, really terrible. Like really, really terrible. Like I just didn't know. It was like super paycheck to paycheck. But I believe that, listen, this is my last because I want to do this thing. And he got me through it. And what's funny is that it came up on my second payment and the payment declined. And they had called me in the room, was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to pay by this date, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. You good, you can stay in class, right? They didn't like embarrass me or nothing for real estate school, but you need to pay by this date. And I was like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm like, hopefully I'm gonna get it. And I got it. And I passed real estate school. I actually passed at the top of my class. And it went from there. And within like a few weeks out of real estate school, I had a job at a real estate company called Trudeau Realty. And so I was an agent for, we primarily work with properties like the north side of Chicago and like in the Bronzeville community. And they're no longer around for whatever reason. I don't know. But I ended up working with them for about a year. And so I want you to know that if you keep waiting for the right time to step into your calling, you will always be stuck. Like I didn't wait until the right time in that particular season. Like and that taught me and it gave me the confidence. Like when you move and you take action, action gives you confidence. And it's crazy how it works, because the more you take action, the more confidence that you have, because you start to see over and over, man, this is gonna work out. Man, he do got my back. You gotta build that, like coming out the womb, coming out straight out the gate. Like you gotta build that trust up, unless you, and it's not that you have to build it in a way that he gotta show you something, but you have to like do the thing to see that like he got you. Because he's had you since day one. Since day one, he's always had you. He's never switched up on you. Because you still, it's not about you just living and being here, but because you have the things that you have. You got clothes on your back. You got a roof over your head. You got somewhere to sleep at night. Like, he got you. So let him have you. Trust in the Lord with all, this is Proverbs 3:5-6. So trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. Man, listen. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. This scripture is just simply about understanding every detail. It isn't about understanding every detail before you move. It's about trusting that God already has the full picture. He already sees it, and he does. So it's like, the signs that you need this is how you know it's time to move. You're feeling restless right now in the current situation. Like restless in the mind, you can't sleep at night. You're like, man, I need to do something. Yeah, right? Like doors are closing in one area and they starting to crack open in another, but you kind of peeking like, what is this for me? You kind of, because you're kind of unsure. You've been getting confirmation, right? Scripture, trusted voices, right? Fear is the only thing holding you back. That's the big one though. Fear is the only, like I've talked to so many people on coaching calls and buying businesses and getting event spaces and starting coaching programs, because I help coaches too, real estate agents on growing their business. And like I was talking to one today about running ads for a business, right? And so everybody, a lot of it be boiling down to fear. Man, well, what if it don't work? That's fear. Well, what if don't nobody buy right away? That's fear. Well, I don't really know, you know what I'm saying, the first step. Are you going to teach me the first step? I don't really know. Like, that's fear. But listen, God does not operate in fear. Only faith. And faith is believing in things that aren't seen. Like that you can't yet see. So you got to believe right now and you got to move right now. That is crazy, but that's just how it is. So it's like, you know that it's time to move because you felt the signs. You felt anxious. You felt, you know what I'm saying, like restless, right? But you're not supposed to be anxious. You're not supposed to be fearful. You're not supposed to be in all this doubt, all this worry, all these things, because you're sitting in worry because you haven't moved. You're sitting around overthinking because you haven't moved. Because once you move, all those questions you have will start to be answered. What if it's going to work? Or what do I do when this happens? Well, what if this happens? You'll learn as you go because that's how things work, but you have to go. You have to start. So Matthew 6:31-33, therefore take no thought saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewith shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth, and for your heavenly Father knoweth ye have need of all these things, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Like, so in this, Jesus was teaching that God already knows your needs. God is the ultimate provider. He knows what you need. He knew what I needed. He knew I ain't had that extra two. It was like $235. He knew I ain't had that $235. He knew I didn't have it when I put the other $235 down. He was like, this man ain't got it, but I got it for him. I got his back, but I need him to show me that he believes in me. And that was I literally put my last $235 down. I didn't know I was going to eat. I didn't know I was going to get to work. I didn't know I was going to have gas in my car. And I figured it out. I went to real estate school. I had to go to real estate school every single, well, no, it wasn't every single day. It was like, no, yeah, it was. It was every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of the week for several weeks. And around this season, I graduated right around this time. It's crazy. Years ago. But I didn't have it. I didn't have the money. I gave it my last because I was tired of sitting still. Like, how long are we going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of sitting still, or things not going, or how long are we going to sit on the sidelines and watch people do stuff? Watching people, I'm like, I don't be getting it. Like, people venue owners will watch other venue owners have good months and then be like, well, how are you doing it? Well, a lot of people, they hire a marketing company, or they're willing to switch up certain things, or they're willing to do this, but they're investing consistently in their business. Coaches and consultants that start their coaching business, they'll look at other coaches that are making $5, $10K a month, $15K a month, and they'll be like, well, how are you doing it? Well, they'll tell you they hired a coach. They went through a course. They put a product out there and they didn't quit. So I want to read this these verses again. So therefore take no thought saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewith shall we be clothed? For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. That is so powerful. Like, he knows what you need. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. It's powerful. It's crazy. So I want you to understand with this is that fear of lack is one of the biggest reasons why people don't move when God tells them to. But when you trust him, provision follows obedience. Meaning that the things that you need follow you being obedient to moving, like you listening to when he tells you to move. So when he tells you to move, it's not like, hey, give me everything for this camping trip and I'll go on the camping trip. No, it's like, here, I'm gonna give you the means to get to the campsite, and along the way, I'll give you everything that you'll need for once you get to the campground. That's how he work for you. It's not no negotiating with me, like, well, give me this now and then I'll do this later. No, you do this now and I'm gonna give you everything so you can get to the later. I didn't get that at first, but that first time in real estate school, it showed me that. Those late nights of working on my book and not quitting, it showed me that. Like, cause I couldn't get sleep. I could not get sleep until I completed the book. Like worrying about, well, how am I gonna do the book? You know what's crazy is that a guy, he's a successful self-published author. He ended up giving me the sauce to publishing a book. I didn't know how to, at that time when I published it back in, it was like 2016, I didn't know what I was doing. He ended up giving me the sauce. I reached out to him. But because I asked. But I had done the thing though. But I was worried about publishing too far ahead. So it's like I see so many people that they join programs, they join mentorships, they buy courses. Well, and you got worries from day one when those are worries. And well, for one, you shouldn't be worrying, but those are things that you're not going to address until day 30. So why are you thinking about day 30? You take care of today and tomorrow will take care of itself. What are we doing? So 2 Kings, right? 4 verses 1 through 7. A widow was drowning in debt. She thought she had nothing, but the prophet Elijah asked, what do you have in your house? And she had a little bit of oil, and when she poured it out into vessels, it multiplied until she had enough to sell and pay off her debts. God has already given you what you need to work with. What you have in your hand right now. Like to the person that wants to invest in mentorship or join a program or buy a program, you sitting on it'd be crazy. We be sitting on the money for stuff. And he's giving you what you need. You just gotta pour. You just gotta pour into it. And you're not pouring into and don't get this confused, the thing you're pouring into the mentor, you're pouring into yourself. For the person that wants to start the coaching and consulting business and looking for a seeking a mentor there, you know what to do. You sitting on the money. You're sitting on the idea. You got to pour back into yourself. You don't believe in you. You don't trust you. You don't know how great you are. You got to reframe your thinking because you are amazing. But you got to know that you're amazing. You got to bet on you 110%. So Romans 8:28, and these if you following along, you still here, like these may be exact spot on verses, and they may or may not be. I encourage you to read these chapters. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. No matter how uncertain things may seem, if God is leading you, it will work out for you in a good way. No matter what it looked like right now, you know God leading you. We've already established how you know these things. It will work out for you in the right way. I ended up, and here's how it worked out for me. I published my book. I graduated real estate school. I worked at a real estate office. I figured out that that's not how I want to help people real estate. Years later, I ended up using that knowledge that he had equipped me with, that he had said, like, look, you put up this 200 and just trust it, and I got you. They didn't put me out when they supposed to put me out because I missed my payment. They were supposed to make me start over, and they didn't. They gave me the extra time because I was like, no, like you trust it, right? So went to real estate school, did that, right? Then got that knowledge, right? Then turned around, ended up doing work for realtors later on down the line, like marketing work, logo work, website work. Like there's some realtors now that still use the logos that I built for them 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Now, honestly, 7 years ago, 8 maybe even years ago. But is it time for a change? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? I updated the logo, but you know, but all of this is because I wasn't chilling, right? So if you've been waiting for a sign to move, this is your sign. Like I know what was going on in the economy. I don't watch the news actively, but that's a part of why my mind is like, I don't watch negative stuff. Like I know the news, like I ain't even gonna get into that. But on the stuff we see, the job layoffs, we see the planes, we see all these things, we see the unstable economy, we see, you know what I'm saying, you're uncomfortable in your current position, but all of this, you feeling like this, you know, you feeling uneasy, you're feeling restless, right? But it's not a coincidence. How long have you felt like this? Forget the stuff, forget the unstable, they've been laying off people, right? The economy been what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be, right? You made it through the pandemic, right? So why can't you make it through now? You made it through the pandemic. You made it through, you know, the what was it, like the 2008, 2009 recession. You made it through these events. So why wouldn't you survive now? If you, especially now saying that I'm finna trust God, right? So, because God has already given you a plan, will you trust him enough to take action on his plan though? Like, I know that when I look back from the moment that, like, when I look back where it all started from the writing my book to the doing t-shirts I think doing t-shirts was first, then writing my book, and then going to real estate school, and then ending up helping, you know what I'm saying, real estate school turned into a lot of different stuff, and then me being a store manager, and then I look up, and then now I acquire all these skills, and then I didn't help, you know, hundreds of people start businesses, right? I've sold a ton of books, right? I've helped people make six figures in their business, and multiple six figures, right? And it's just like, all of this started with that mustard seed of faith that we hear people talk about. Like, I didn't know I was going to end up here. Like, I didn't know I was going to end up, like, being able to take month-long vacations. I didn't know I was going to end up being able to take month-long, like, work trips where I work. I didn't know I was going to end up being able to work, you know what I'm saying, 4 to 6 hours a day. I didn't know I was going to end up being able to go where I want to go, when I want to go, how I want to go, right? I didn't know I was going to have the freedom that I had, but I did trust that God had something bigger for me from the jump. Like, I trusted it, but I didn't move on it how I should have each and every single time. And honestly, like, it took me a while to get the mentors that I needed. And that's probably the biggest thing that I would wish I would have did different. I wish I would have just got mentors sooner. I wish I would have just got help sooner. I wish I would have just came to somebody and told them my idea. Like, just go to somebody that's done it and tell them what you think and what's on your mind. What do you want to do? And they go to the person that you believe. It could be me. It could be somebody else. Like, it could be somebody in your family. Go to somebody you know is going to help you with your plan. Now, you come to me. Listen. We gonna lock it in because I want to see you win. And that's what I be saying to people, like, everybody is capable of winning no matter what's going on. There's so many ways for you to crush it. It's just like what you need is a plan. Forget the noise of all the different ways. Forget the this, forget the that. You need to execute on the plan that you got. You need to trust yourself, and you need to invest in yourself. And I'm not telling you this from a space of like, I never invested in myself. Investing in yourself ain't always about money, but it's a lot of it is about action. And that's where I'm at, and that's where I've been at, and that's where I started at. I invested in me, right? So I'm if you still here, like, this is pretty dope, right? I'm proud of you. And so what I want to leave you with is this. If you're an entrepreneur and you're struggling to make the right moves, right? I want to help you out. That's it. Like, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna drop the link, you know what I'm saying, so I can show you how to become a faith-driven CEO, where I help entrepreneurs like build businesses and make, you know what I'm saying, six figures and beyond with the foundation of faith, because that's the number one problem that people are having now is lack of faith. And I do this through my focus formula, right? And so faith is the reason why you haven't moved. But if you are tired of the restlessness, you're tired of sitting still, you're tired of being in the position that you're in, you're ready to see things change, right? You know that you got it up here. You know that he's equipped you with the tools. You just need somebody to help you along the way, right? You just need somebody to kind of just lay it out for you, right? We're going to build something. I want to help you build something that has complete clarity, that is automated so you're not burning out, right? And that has strategy, right? And so you can scale it. And scaling it, when I say this, so you can just grow it, right? You can build it up into, 3K a month. Maybe you only need an extra 3K a month. Maybe you only need an extra 5K or 10K. You know what I'm saying? 50 up to 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever you're trying to build. Let me help you build this thing. But it's not just a thing, but build this faith-driven business that at its core, at the foundation, right? As we're building it on faith. We're not building it no, we're building it on faith. Faith being we're trusting that in things that we haven't seen because we've never done this business before, right? And so whether you are starting the business or you're looking to grow the business, just click the link below in the description, or let's make it super easy on you. You can text 773-345-7712. Again, the phone number is 773-345-7712. And I want you to text the word faith. So you're going to text the word faith to 773-345-7712. So if you're ready to move right now, you ready to start hitting the goals, trusting God, tapping into the word, trusting God, building a faith-based, faith-driven business, because you want to become a faith-driven CEO that actually lives in that life of abundance, lives in that life of ease. Because over the years, that's what I've become. Like, I've always, like, as things progress, as I start to take more and more action, that's what it was for me. It was belief. Like, I always told myself, like, man, God didn't bring me this far, just bring me this far, and he always bring me a little bit further. And so what I realized is in that is, like, I always said, God, well, how can I just be a better steward? Like, what do you need me to do? And he's always led me to helping people. So that's what I'm looking to do for you. If you're ready to get the help, if you're ready to make moves, if you're ready to build up your faith and to lay the foundation, to lay the bricks on top of the foundation, when your foundation being faith of your business, building a multi-six-figure empire of a business. If that's you, or whether you already have a business or you're looking to start one, no matter what the business is, whether you're a local business owner, you're an online business owner, if you are ready to bust this move, and when I say bust this move, I mean if you're ready to become a faith-driven CEO, right? I want to help the entrepreneur that knows that they got a little bit of faith but wants more faith, right? I want to help the entrepreneur that got the business but don't really know how to kind of what step to take next to grow the business, right? I want to help the entrepreneur that's like, man, is this going to work? I got everything I need to make it work, but is this going to work? So it's not that you're missing faith completely because you got the stuff that's needed and you're willing, but you just need that extra. So that's who I'm here to help. So whether you run a local business, right? Like I said, like a venue or something like that, or event space or whatever the case may be, or a real estate company or whatever, or you're a real estate agent, or you're an online business owner, a coach, a consultant, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you do, you can do insurance, like whatever, like text FAITH to 773-345-7712. And of course, it's for the people that want to add income. Text FAITH to 773-345-7712, right? So, yeah, I mean, I want to leave you with this. And let me leave you with this right here. And so Joshua 1:9, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. God is not asking you to figure it all out before you move. He's asking you to trust that he is with you in every step of the way, and he will be. You don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the next step. You just got to take the one that's in front of you. And when you do, the doors will open, right? And the resources will appear because they do, because it happened for me, and I know that it's going to happen for you. And everything he promised you, everything that you feel in your heart that you, it's not about deserving. Like, it's not a thing of I feel I deserve or anything like that, but it's a thing of like the visions that you have of like, I know you had them dreams of you being successful. You're like, man, I know those are his promises to you, right? So everything he promised to you will start to align and you'll start to see it. So I want you to move forward in faith, knowing that he has already gone ahead of you to make it happen. So, if that spoke to you, if any of this spoke to you, text 773, text FAITH to 773-345-7712, and let's talk about what God is calling you to step into. All right, peace.